Hello there, my name is Ismas. Welcome to another Blender tutorial. This time I'm going to be explaining how I made this book here. And I guess also this will also be a texturing tutorial in Blender 2.8. I did this tutorial, it's already up on my YouTube video, but I guess it's not a really tutorial because I wasn't explaining what I was doing. I was just me making the model and then showing how I did it without explaining. So this is just a quick explanation of how I did this, and yeah, with a texture tutorial as well. So yeah, let's do this. Let me let me just hide this. Let me create a new project. Let me not mess up that. Okay, so the first thing you do is add the book cover, and today you can just add a loop in the middle, bevel this loop using the bevel tool, like that. You can extrude this down like that, around that, and maybe let's move this a bit to around there, and we can delete these edges so that we have something like that. This is too sharp, so we can round it off a bit, so we can scale this in, maybe add two loops here, then push those down a bit like that, and we have our book cover. Then you just go in to the modifiers and add a solidify modifier. Make sure you apply the rotation and scale, and increase the thickness. So if you give it a negative, if you give the thickness a negative value, it is in the opposite side of the normals. So around there is good enough. We can apply the. No, let's not apply that yet, because it will be easier to texture before we apply, and not exactly it's the same thing. So let's just apply. Maybe let me not apply, because I want to show you how you can apply a different material for this rim, and a different material for this top part and bottom part. So we have the book cover. We can give it a subdivision surface, and you can see it's getting out of shape, so we can add a loop there to support that side, and another loop this side to support this side, and another one to support this side. Same with that side. See, that's what we have. Let me turn on cavity and shadows to see what we're doing much better. I guess we can also add another loop to support this side, and another one to support that. So we have our cover, smooth shading. That's our cover. Now let's add the pages. Of course, we are not going to model every single page. That would be very tiresome. We'll be using animate texture to show those pages. So let's create the shape of the pages. I'll just added a cube, and can turn it into the shape of the books, of the pages. So this side we can use this shear tool in the X direction to make it diagonal, because pages are supposed to be like that, and I can maybe use it again here. Then extrude. We can try using this extrude to cursor. So there and there. The way this works is that if you have anything, a face or a cube select, or an edge or vertex selected, you can just click anywhere you want, and you will have an extrusion to that point. So we can move these vertices, because we're going to have two sides here, so this should be in the middle here, so we can move these vertices that. Also make sure that this is as tall as the book cover, at least maybe somewhere like that. Of course, this area is not supposed to be as sharp, so we can add maybe a loop there. And then select this point and make it curving like that. And we can also add a few loops here. Straighten them up. And this one here. Then we can pull these vertices up. By the way, I'm also selecting the other side as well, so don't forget that. That's why I'm using a border select. We have our book. Now we can add a subdivision surface to make it look smoother, but we need to add supporting loops for there, for that side and that side, and I guess this side like that. Just duplicate these, rotate it, mirror it in the x-axis, Control M to mirror. I guess we should just use Alt D when duplicating, so that we have an instance instead of a copy. That way, any changes we make to this can be applied to the other side. So make the pages, the single pages that are flipping, you can select this part here. I guess this is supposed to be single object. So let's first texture this. So this is the texturing part of the tutorial. So when you're texturing any object in Blender, you need to UV unwrap it. So let's do that. Just select the object and then new. Hit U to UV unwrap, and we can go to the UV editing tab, and you can see this is that part there. If you see this distortions like this, you can add seams so that you have separate objects, so that you have separate faces. You can also straighten these up by scaling them in one direction, 0 pixels. But this is going to have a rough texture, so it won't really matter that much. So yeah, for the texturing part, after you have done the UV unwrapping, you can go to shading, and you can add a new material, then add a texture, image texture, and then you can add any texture you have. So let me see what I have. I had a leather texture, I think, that I used. That you can connect that to the color. If you're using PBR textures, you have different textures for different nodes you see here. So I have one for the roughness, so I will just find that, which is here, and you can see it gives us that rough thing. And yeah, so we can also make this a bit different. So maybe we can select this. Also, let's see, should we do that right now? No, let's not, because I wanted this to be at an angle like this, and maybe we have the pages flipping around this, around like that. I don't think we need to add use the normal. Maybe let me just add that. I mean, why not? Normal. When you're using a normal and the normal node, make sure you add a normal map as well between that, and we can reduce the. Let's first feed in the normal map. There you can see it's a lot, so we can reduce the strength. Let's say 0.3. I think that's good enough. And if you want to change the color, again, you just use an object input. Where is that? Input object info. Then feed that into a color ramp. Vector, convert color ramp. This is supposed to go into a mix RGB node. Because we want to mix these random colors. Let me first set the colors. So we have a green book. We'll have a darker blue book. And let's change this to B-spline so we have a more transitional gradient. This can be pinkish like that. I don't know what colors to use here, so just go with those and connect the random to the factor here. And every time we duplicate this, we should get a different color. So, but we still need this color map to come in here, so we can add a mix shader color, a mix RGB node, mix the texture with the color ramp. Let me flip this so that we can see the texturing better. And we can increase the factor here and change the mix to the blending mode. Let's try color. It's not that good. Let's try overlay. I think always works. So let's just use that overlay. Let me see if we switch these. Still the same thing, but you get more detail. So let's move this back. Like that. And if you want this side to have a different color, you can just create a new shader. And let's call this backside. Let's just give it a brownish color or yellow, whatever. Let's save this as book 2. And to assign this to this backside, you just need to go to the modifier and then solidify modifier, and every material you add to this object here, it's given an index. So the first one has an index of 0. The second one has an index of 1, and then the third one has an index of 3. So if we have a fourth one, maybe let's give it a red, a pink like that. Go to modifiers again. You can see here the material index. You can set the material index for the rim, and I think for the, I don't know what the thickness as well. So if we change this to 1, so this is the rim, this is the back side. So we would just need to flip. Okay, so we need 2 for this. We just need to flip this around. So if we go to the object again, we can move this to the bottom so that it covers our bottom. And that is what we have. I think the indexes have changed as well. So let's okay, I'm not sure why it has stopped working. Anyway, that's the concept. I think that's a bug that is not showing now, but because it's supposed to show. Anyway, I guess you get the point. That must be a bug, but yeah, so we have that. Now let's make the pages. So for the pages, we can select this top part, unwrap it. Let's go to UV editing. This is the UV, and find an image for that, a texture for that part. I think I have them under textures. So I have this texture here, so I can use that. Maybe UV unwrap again. I'm not sure why I'm getting this error here, but since we already have the UVs, I shouldn't worry about that. So let's apply the texture to that. So we want this to be the page. Texture, image texture. So we already imported it, so it must be in here. But it's quite a mess, so we need to fix that. So UV image, go to texture mode. We need to let's first unwrap again. You know what? Let me first delete this side so that I'm dealing with only one side. Unwrap. Okay, sometimes when you apply the scale, that error you see here will go away. So that's what I did. Now we just need to flip this in the Y, mirror this in the Y axis, and then in the X axis to get our textures looking exactly as we want them. And I can move this page to be this side here. And then for this side, for this face here, just select this loop and then add. So I think this is a good UV. We can still unwrap that. But it's giving us this nasty UV. So let's try smart projection. Yeah, I think this would be a little bit better. We need a different texture, so let's add a new material. We call these pages and assign that to the selection. We need a different texture for the pages. I think, what did I use here? I think I used this here. So there are a lot of free textures you can get from public domain websites, and that's why I got this. If you're wondering, you just type in Google public domain images, and you should find them. So let's add this texture in to our shader. So I think it's, which one is it? It's this here. And let's go back to UV editing and make sure we match these. You know what I should do is just unwrap this using projection mapping. Projection from view. Unwrap projection from view. Projection from view like that. Bring this up here. But it's not giving us that bend, so we need to, let's just unwrap it like that. The pages were not bending, so I think this here is okay. We just need to fix this other side. Grow the selection, unwrap, rotate that, so that it also fits in there. So that's our book. We just need to duplicate this, shift D, mirror this in the X direction, and move it there. If you want to change the texture here, you just go to edit mode, select this face, and let's go back to the image that we used, and then push it to there, and you have that. So to make a single page, you just shift D, duplicate this so that you have that page. So I did this after I textured this so that we can have that a separate object with textures already there. So then separate this using P. So we have a page like this. Now we can rotate it from the 3D cursor. So you can just change the pivot point to 3D cursor from the top here. Now we can rotate, and let's turn on wireframe so that we see what we're doing. And you can make as many copies as you want here. Now you have a flipping book, and to make it more dramatic, you can edit this, maybe add a loop here. Select one of the vertices here, and turn on proportional editing. And we can drag this point or rotate it, put the cursor around here, and rotate it from the pivot point. Maybe that's too much, so we can maybe put the 3D cursor there. See, now remember we haven't turned on, did we? Okay, we have subsaphon. Yeah, so that's a simple way to make a book, and also to make what is it called, texturing in Blender. So what I wanted to do it to have this book at this angle around here. So the good thing about Blender 2.8 is that when you select, you can select multiple objects and enter in edit mode for all those objects at once. So what we can do is select this side here. Make sure you have every part there selected. Maybe not these bottom parts. Yeah, around there. Add the 3D cursor here. Remember we have a pivot point turned to 3D cursor. Now if we rotate this, I guess we can also rotate from there. What is going on? Oh, I think I have individual points turned on. So let's make sure that's not the case. No, it's 3D cursor. I'm not sure why it's doing it like that. Or let's just turn to individual origins. Not individual origins, but median point. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Maybe because we have this enabled. Okay, maybe it was because of that. So let's rotate this again. 3D cursor as the pivot point. Maybe select these. Okay, perfect. That's why you need to be saving all the time when you're using this version of Blender, and I think I wasn't. have lost the textures, but anyway, that's how you do it. What I wanted to do is make this so that it's at an angle instead of just being flat, laid out flat. 3D cursor. Yes, something like that. But this needs to be a separate object. How do you apply this in Blender 2.8? Let me see. Convert. Do we have convert here? Object, apply, make duplicates real. No. Is this? No. Object, convert. There's a way to make this a single user so that it's not linked to the other object relationship. Make single user. This is what I want. Object and object data selected. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Now we need to select this, then rotate. That's what I wanted. And now you would have your pages here. Duplicated. I don't think you need you don't even need to make them separate objects. Now we would have that. So you can also use Shift E to make these straight, and you have your book like that. Yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.